right, welcome to another edition of American Soccer Break. I have Rahi with me. We're kind of looking for Roy right now. I don't know. I don't know where he's at. Oh boy. Oh man.
Carajo, vamos Argentina, carajo, vamos Messi. Woo!
Roy thought that the unveiling was for him. I think it sounds like.
Vamos Messi.
Well, that was better than the unveiling itself.
Wow. I'm speechless, Roy. I'm absolutely speechless right now.
Thank you guys. I am pumped today. I'm not gonna lie. Wow.
Okay. I think that that doesn't need any more words, but I think everyone understands where he was going with that. There was a little event over the weekend called the Messi Unveiling.
He's here.
He is here. What did you guys think about that? The beautiful rendition of the unveiling that happened.
Well, I actually think Roy's dance was better than the unveiling, to be honest. That was pretty impressive. And it wasn't that impressive at all. So that gives you my
all right.
take on the unveiling.
Left it at the compliment.
Yeah.
Nice.
But no, I think there's two parts of this. The unveiling we can set aside for a second. But Messi himself made all the right choices. I mean, his first stop, as far as I know, I wasn't with them. His first stop was Publix, the grocery store, which is a fantastic choice on so many levels. It's a Florida, started in Florida, like of the community, only in the South. It's the place that everyone loves. I mean, it's like going to In-N-Out if he came to LA or something, and he's shopping there in his clear slides. Like everything, somebody advised him well. That was the smartest decision you could make. Because if you ask anyone from that region, they'll tell you that that's the best grocery store in the world.
Yeah.
So
and
I don't know.
So messy, man.
They should just had the unveiling at Publix. I mean, that would have been nice.
Exactly. That's what they should have done
in the sandwich department.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes, exactly. Honestly, they should have done that because what he did there, they did the exact opposite at the unveiling. Yeah. Very corporate, very sponsored. The song was the Budweiser official anthem, that little baby, don't take it, the world is yours. I mean, it was the most corporate, boring unveiling with the fire. I didn't love it. What did you think, Roy?
Yeah, the first time I saw it, I was angry. I was angry that they have the greatest player of all time coming to their last place, pathetic club, terrible club. Inter Miami is a mess. And they're getting a god of the sport, the greatest of all time. And they don't pull all the stops in this unveiling. I thought it was poorly organized. The sound was weird. They got the wrong. Jorge Mas was a little bit boring. I could tell he was passionate and excited, but just a little bit boring. He called him the best number 10 in the world. Didn't mention greatest of all time. Beckham also didn't say he's the greatest player. He said he's one of the best, which doesn't bother me so much, but they signed him. This needed to be a massive deal with a huge, beautiful tifo. You've seen MLS clubs and their tifos, man. They're gorgeous. No tifo in sight. It didn't feel like a soccer thing. It felt very much like I don't know. It felt very American, very NBA. The panned out to the crowd and half the people with their cell phones, the other half doing a little golf clap, some of the people sitting down as he's walking out. It just, in contrast with him showing up to Argentina for his the testimonial match, it's just two different universes. And it was like, what else do we expect from
the lighting was all off too. It looked like our lighting. It looked like our lighting for our podcast, man. Like it's like it was ridiculous. But
like Rocky's lighting,
yeah.
Like no, the testimonial. I mean, you were talking about the one Riquelme, right?
Riquelme's testimonial
that was
match,
beautiful,
too.
man. That was
the way the whole stadium sung and jumped, and they all had the same song. Why didn't they plan something? Why didn't they give them all pink flags with Messi's face on it or something? A huge tifo. Get the effing supporter section to build a beautiful tifo. This is the greatest player of our generation, arguably of all time, walking into your tiny ass stadium in Fort Lauderdale, and it's okay. It's an okay presentation.
So, all right, that's done. And now he has to actually go play some soccer for this team.
Yeah.
So that debut's coming up. Roy, talk to me about what you're expecting from the debut.
Listen, man, as bad as I thought the presentation was, not fully Inter Miami's fault. It was partially the fans. It was partially the lack of energy. The real fireworks are going to come when he actually plays. I read somewhere, I don't know if this is verified, but 3.5 billion people watched that unveiling. I've seen a ton of US soccer accounts, it's all over Twitter. Anyways, unverified, if even remotely true, that kind of goes to show how many people are going to be watching MLS. Like, this is unprecedented. This is going to force changes in this league, is going to force other teams to lift themselves up so they're worth watching. It's going to force the players in Miami to lift themselves up, to make themselves worth watching, because they are an effing disaster. This team is dead last in the league. They play very poorly. They get scored on 3-4 goals every single game. So Messi is getting plugged in to a train wreck. And this is going to be either magic. He's going to come in and suddenly this is all going to be turned around. He's going to score a hat trick in his debut. He's going to replicate the 1986 Maradona goal in his first game. Or it's just not enough. Him and Sergio Busquets might not be enough to turn this thing around, and it could be pretty damn embarrassing. And that would hurt me as a Messi lover, as a lover of Argentina, as a lover of this league. That would be very painful. So, I'm nervous, man.
It's going to be interesting. It's basically the equivalent of your Saturday league team getting Messi to join your team. You know, you're like middling around, you know, all your players are kind of out of shape, not that good. And then you get the best player in the world to come in. You know, it's like bringing in a ringer. I mean, I think he's going to score a hat trick on debut. I mean, it should happen, right?
I don't know.
I mean, the way I look at it is, they're last. They're absolutely last, right? So even if he like performs outstandingly, has like a Zlatan type, you know, start to the season, or his season, I should say, I don't think they can make the playoffs, can they?
I think they have to have like an average of 2.4 points a game for the rest of it. So no, 95% chance they don't. And it's not a comment about Messi. I don't want to say Messi isn't enough to turn this around. Messi is the greatest there is, but it's too much of a mess. They didn't prepare themselves for the arrival of this caliber of player. You shouldn't treat Messi as a savior. You don't want to bring in a player like that and say, save us. You want to bring in a player like that and say, elevate us. And that's not the case right now. That is
so how will he impact Inter Miami? And I mean that beyond just the game that's coming up.
Listen, man, the team from back to front is lacking. They got Joseph Martinez, who's the ex-MLS MVP, who is maybe 30% of the player he was 3 years ago when he was in Atlanta. It looks like he's ready to break out and come back to his original form, but he doesn't have the service. So maybe that partnership ends up being lethal. You got Campana, who is also a very strong forward, who, again, isn't clicking with Joseph, isn't getting the service, so he's not having the impact. So maybe plugging in a Messi there, we're going to get goals from all three of them. Endless goals. That's a possibility. Or it's just three players who love having the ball, disconnect, making the wrong runs. Oh, man, I'm nervous. And the defense. The defense is, look how many goals they've given up.
You forgot to mention the return of the illustrious Tata Martino, who Mexican fans know very well. An extremely successful manager, right? The first to not get Mexico out of their group in I don't know how long. But no, he's a good manager. He's shown with Atlanta what he can do. Yes. He loves Messi, and Messi loves him. So there's that connection there. But it's going to be one of those things where this team is leaking goals, right? So I mean, Messi is the best ever, but he plays on one side of the field effectively, right? I mean, so you're going to be able to create a lot more attacking opportunities. You're probably going to score a lot of goals. But they're still going to give up goals. That's not going to change. So we might get some really exciting 4-3 kind of games. That's what's in store. And the other thing we saw, to your point, Messi, with old incarnations of Argentina we've seen, when he's forced to play that role where he's the savior, he finds it quite difficult. When you build around him the way that this incarnation of Argentina did, with Enzo, with McAllister playing those roles, allowing him the space to then Messi, you get on the ball in that little space between the box and the midfield and work your magic.
Yep.
That's when he has the freedom to create masterpieces.
Excellent point.
Have that here.
Excellent point. Yep. Look at Argentina's of the past where Messi was that savior. He wasn't a savior.
Can we see Inter Miami versus Al Nassr? I want to see that game.
I would love to see that.
That would be a good exhibition, man.
That would be a great game, actually.
It'll get set up, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think
that's sure it will.
That's what we need to set that up.
That would be who can elevate their team,
Oof, that would be fun.
That would be a good game. At least Messi has some other South Americans on this team, right? He always likes to hang out with them.
Mr. Sergio Busquets as well is
his old friend Sergio Busquets.
That's gonna be big, man. And maybe Jordi Alba. Don't forget Jordi Alba looks like he's set to sign. And the other one that no one is mentioning, but I don't know how much of an impact he'll have, is Andres Iniesta.
What? He's still playing?
He's still playing in Kobe. They did his farewell party at the stadium. You should look that up.
As the assistant coach is coming on, or what? No, I think. Look, in all seriousness, I think next season, this is actually some more players will come over and it'll be a different story. I think this season, they may just have to wash it off. Yeah,
Busquets makes a difference. He does exactly what we're talking about, right? He plugs up the midfield.
Yeah, but anyway, it's gonna be it's gonna be viewed by 3.2 billion people or whatever number Roy just gave us as well, and I think we should all tune in to that later in the week. But for now, we will see you guys all later. I don't know if Roy wants to keep dancing or what, but there we go. We'll end there, and as always, vamos USA.